Our third speaker is a veteran of the Dexter Prize contest, Lauren Vignaly. She will be reciting an excerpt from the novel Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman.
On the corner of Rosenstrasse and Theaterplatz, there's a small outdoor cafe with 6 blue tables and a row of blue petunias in the chef's window box. And from this cafe, one can see and hear the whole of Bern. People drift through the arcades of Rosenstrasse, talking and stopping to buy linen or wristwatches or cinnamon. A group of 8-year-old boys has been let out for morning recess from the grammar school on Kochergasse. They follow their teacher in single file through the streets to the banks of the Aar. Smoke drifts lazily from the mill just over the river. Water gurgles from the Zhang fountain, and the giant clock tower on Rosenstrasse strikes the quarter hour. If, for a moment, one ignores the sounds and smells of the city, a remarkable sight will be seen. 2 men on the corner of Kochergasse are trying to part, but cannot, as if they will never see each other again. They exchange goodbyes, start to walk in opposite directions, then rush back together. A middle-aged woman sits on the stone rim of the fountain. She grips the edge of the fountain with her yellow-stained hands. She grips it so hard that the blood rushes from her hands, and she stares in despair at the ground. Her loneliness has the permanence of a person who will never see other people again. 2 women in sweaters stroll down Rosenstrasse. Arm in arm, they laugh with such abandon that they can be thinking no thoughts of the future. In fact, this is a world without future. In this world, time is a line that terminates at the present. In this world, no person can imagine the future. Imagining the future is no more possible than seeing colors beyond violet. The senses cannot conceive what lies past the visible end of the spectrum. In a world without future, each parting of friends is death. In a world without future, each laugh is the last laugh. In a world without future, each loneliness is final. In a world without future, beyond the present lies nothingness, and people cling to the present as if clinging to the edge of a cliff. A person who cannot imagine the future cannot conceive the results of his actions, and thus are paralyzed into inaction. They lie in bed, awake through the day, afraid to get dressed. They sip coffee and look at photos. Still others jump out of bed in the morning. They are unconcerned that each action leads to nothingness, unconcerned that they cannot plan out their lives. They live in the moment, moment to moment, and each moment is full. Still others substitute the past for the future. They recall each memory, each action taken, each cause and effect, and are fascinated how these events have led them to this moment, the last moment of the world, the termination of the line that is time. In the little outdoor cafe, the one with 6 tables, a young man sits with his coffee and pastry. He has been idly watching the street. He has seen the 2 laughing women in sweaters. He has seen the middle-aged woman sitting at the fountain. He has seen the friends that exchange goodbyes repeatedly. As he sits, a storm cloud rolls in over the city. But he does not leave his table. He can only imagine the present. And at this moment, the present is a darkening sky, but no rain. As he sips his coffee, he contemplates how the past ends in darkness. Still, no rain. As he squints in the dwindling light to read his paper, he reads the last line that he will read in his lifetime. Then, rain. He goes inside, takes off his jacket, and marvels how the world ends in rain. He discusses food with the chef, but he's not waiting for anything, because in a world without a future, each moment is the last moment. After about 20 minutes, the rain passes, the sky clears, and he returns to his table, and he marvels how the world ends in sunlight.
next speaker this morning is a junior making her first appearance in Dexter Prize, Zhang, who will be reciting The Day the Saucers Came by Neil Gaiman.
That day, the saucers landed, hundreds of them, golden, silent, coming down from the sky like great snowflakes. And the people of Earth stood and stared as they descended, waiting, dry-mouthed, to find out what waited inside for us, and none of us knowing if we would be here tomorrow. But you didn't notice, because that day, the day the saucers came, by some coincidence, was the day the graves gave up their dead, and the zombies pushed up through soft earth or erupted, shambling and dull-eyed, unstoppable, came towards us, the living, and we screamed and ran. But you did not notice this, because on the saucer day, which was zombie day, it was Ragnarok also, and the television screens showed us a ship built of dead men's nails, a serpent, a wolf, all bigger than the mind could hold, and the cameraman could not get far enough away. And then the gods came out, but you did not see them coming, because on the saucer zombie valley God's day, the floodgates broke, and each of us was engulfed by genies and sprites, offering us wishes and wonders and eternities, and charm and cleverness, and true brave hearts and pots of gold. And the giants fee-fo-fummed across the land, and killer bees. But you had no idea of any of this, because that day, the saucer day, the zombie day, the Ragnarok, and fairies day, the day the great winds came, and snows, and the cities turned to crystal, the day all plants died, plastics dissolved, the day the computers turned, the screens telling us we would obey, the day angels, drunk and muddled, stumbled from the bars, and all the bells of London were sounded, the day animals spoke to us in Assyria, the Yeti day, the fluttering capes and arrival of the time machine day. You didn't notice any of this, because you were sitting in your room, not doing anything, not even reading, not really. Just looking at your telephone, wondering if I was going to call. Thank you.
Our next speaker is another senior and another veteran of the contest, Alex Sivitskis, who will be reciting the address to the Congressional hearing on immigration by Stephen Colbert.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Colbert, and I am an American citizen. It is an honor and privilege to be before you today, and I certainly hope that my star power will bump this hearing all the way to C-SPAN 1. Now, as you heard this morning, American farms are currently too dependent on foreign labor to pick our fruits and vegetables. The obvious answer for this question is that we stop eating our fruits and vegetables. And when we take a look at the recent obesity statistics, you'll see that many Americans already have done so. Now, we all understand that there is a long tradition of powerful nations who rely on foreign labor to do their farm work. After all, it was the ancient Israelites who built the first food pyramids. But this is America, and I don't want a tomato picked by a Mexican. I want a tomato picked by an American, and then sliced by a Guatemalan, served by a Venezuelan in a spa where a Chilean gives me a Brazilian. Because my great-grandfather did not travel across the 4,000 miles of the Atlantic Ocean to see this country overrun by immigrants. He did it because he killed a man in Ireland. That's the rumor. I don't know. I would like that stricken from the record. We all know that this country is going forward. And we understand that we must protect our borders. And I'm sure Arturo Rodriguez would be asking, who then, Stephen, will pick our crops? Well, Arturo, first of all, do not interrupt me when I'm talking. That is rude. Secondly, I reject this notion that farm work is among the semi-mythical jobs that Americans won't do. Really? No Americans? I did. In part of my ongoing series, Stephen Colbert's fallback positions, where I try other jobs and realize mine is a lot better. I spent hours upon hours working with countless migrant workers in the heat of the sun, picking crops, packing corn. And I have to say, and I say this with complete sincerity, please don't make me do it again. It was really, really hard. First of all, I'm not sure if you know this, but when you bend down to pick up crops, you have to go all the way down. And this is not true. This is another fact that I did not know, but that soil is actually on ground level. If we can put a man on the moon, why can we not make the earth waist high? Come on, where is the funding? Now, after this brief experience, I got a small idea on why so few Americans are clamoring to start a new career as a seasonal field worker. So what's the solution? Now, I'm a free market guy, and normally I would leave this to the invisible hand of the market. But the invisible hand has already sent 84 million acres and displaced 22,000 farm jobs down to Mexico, as well as putting over 1 million acres of American farmland out of business because there is no available labor. Apparently, the invisible hand does not even want to pick beans. That said, when moving forward, we have to understand what is at the base of our accomplishment. Close enough. Thanks, guys.